Welcome to Creators on the Crest, where we rise with the tide and align with the truth. Welcome, welcome. We're going to give it a moment for the algorithmic waves to carry this live out there to everyone. So make yourself a cup of tea, grab your coffee, grab your water, and we'll get settled in. Oh my goodness, this Mercury retrograde. Let me put up a question here. I see the notifications going out. What is your vibe today? Let me know in the comments. What is your vibe today? What are you feeling? Let me know, let me know. Whew, my nose is itching. Hi, Jason. Thank you for always checking in and making sure everything's going good with my live, babe. Appreciate you. All right. Be sure to put that thumbs up on the live for me. Let me know if you can see the Q&A. Oh, wait, I haven't even started it yet. Let me know if you can see the Q&A here. How is everyone doing? Let me know in the chat. Say hello once you're here and settled in. And I'm going to make some little notes here. This is Frequency Friday with Creators on the Crest. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. Please drop your vibe, today's vibe that you're feeling in the chat. Jason, you got the high energy vibe. All right. Who knows what you'll accomplish while I'm on the live here. All right, all right, all right, all right. So today we're going to do some really creative and reflective readings surrounding like the Mercury retrograde and everything. Kimberly got the good night's sleep. Great. You earned that for sure. You can see the question. Yay. What's your vibe today? Well rested. I did not sleep as well as I normally do. I think it's probably because I had a little bit too much caffeine late in the day, but oh well. I'm going to try to move. This only lets me move the question like at certain places on the screen. So it's usually, to me, it looks like it's right here in front of my face. Hello. What does it look like to you guys? I don't know. Is it in the middle? Is it here? Tressa's here. Tressa, what's your vibe today? Hello. Some of you can see the question. What is your vibe today? It's covering my face. I know. I'm like, hello. I try to move it, but it's like, I want to put it up here where there's, you know, open space. Oh my goodness, we're here at Frequency Friday, y'all. We're here at Frequency Friday. Can you believe it? Another week has gone by. Oh my goodness, goodness gracious. And we're in the midst of a Mercury retrograde, right? Make yourself at home. Say hello in the chat. Hello, everyone. Be sure to put a thumbs up on the live so we can get our community flowing today, the creators community. Let me know in the chat what's your vibe today. Vibe hi, Daniel. Wonderful. And congratulations on your crowdfunding on the episode 5 or chapter 5, episode 5 of the Psychonaut series. Congratulations. Valentine Tears, good morning. How are you? What's your vibe today? How are you feeling? How is this Mercury retrograde treating everybody? Are you feeling it? Is it like just another time to you? What does it mean for you guys? What are you feeling with that? Let me know. I'm kind of looking some things up here. We're going to talk a little bit about the Mercury retrograde today, but that's really not all we're going to talk about. We're going to go a little bit deeper into the energies because that's what it's all about in Scorpio season. So let me know in the chat what your vibe is today. Okay, let me know in the chat. I'm going to put the question down. Talk a little bit about what's coming up. Today's messaging. However, I will be doing it on Sunday night here on the channel from 7 to 8 p.m. Central. So Sunday the 16th, That's this Sunday coming up, 7 to 8 p.m. Central. I'll be live doing live Q&A for subscribers. You come on, you drop your question or theme in the chat, and I do as many mini readings as I can in that hour-long segment, okay? So be sure to check out the Sunday Night Live Q&A. However, if you can't make that, I do encourage you to stay tuned here to Frequency Friday, because a lot of times the more you interact and chat in the chat and the more we look into things, it can actually turn out feeling very personal. So remember, I'm tuning into the energies of the people who are also tuning in. So the likelihood that I'm going to pick up on what's going on for you is higher if you're tuned in and participating. Girl Gone's here. Hello, Girl Gone. Welcome. I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little on the tired side, trying to stay hydrated. Just been a lot going on. The Mercury retrograde has been very interesting for me. I don't know about you, but I've definitely dealt with like the tech glitches and, phone calls where people can't hear you on the other end of the phone, or it's glitching out, things like that. And there's a lot of geomagnetic activity going on right now with some of the solar events and the geomagnetic storms. So that's a part of it too. Who recently was able to see the Northern Lights? Those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. Did anybody see the Northern Lights? I know in the Midwest here, we were able to see the purple color in the sky. I don't know about further south of us, but yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of energy going on right now. Girl Gone says, well, let me back up. Tressa says, the full moon kicked my booty and I've been taking it easy. My body has made it clear I need to rest. Very good. I'm so glad to hear you're listening to your body, for one, because your body will inform you what's needed. And a lot of times the mind will get, maybe attached to something, got to get things done, got to do this, got to do that, got to do it yesterday. But the body says, no, this is what I need in order to show up as my best. So I'm glad you're honoring that for yourself. And Girl Gone says, downloads, whew. And I'm feeling it. The energy is moving as I'm trying your message here. Downloads are taking me down the rabbit hole and my brain is in shock. Oh my gosh, your brain is in shock. Okay. All right. Let me know how that feels. Daniel saw the Northern Lights. Yeah. Huge headaches. Yeah. Had to spend a day laying down. Yes. And I just got one yesterday that's continued into today as well. So those of us who are very sensitive, that can often happen. Yeah, listen to the body. Yeah, Tressa, thank you for the reminder. That's a wonderful way to ground us all in today, as a reminder to really pay attention to the body and get enough rest, for sure. Even when the mind is telling you, go do other things, like, or you got to do all these things. You got to show up for you first, right? Make sure your body's in the right place and the right health and the right rested phase. Girl Gone says, I went down a rabbit hole debunking the calendar. Okay, that's so cool. And then had number sequencings of 369, which is amazing, by the way. And it blew your mind because it all connects with mathematics and certain religions, and I'm shook by it. I might have some, that 369 is definitely very, very powerful. So when we're looking at the tarot, we're looking at the Empress, the Lovers, and the Hermit, 369 cards, which is very intriguing, right? I'm going to write that down. Yeah, very, very cool. Thank you for sharing that. As I was doing the last tarot and tea, where I was speaking about the 1111, and I wanted to kind of back away from, all the singles day twin flame thing, and I wanted to kind of get away from that with the 11 and really go into the dynamics of that number and the energy. So it was very interesting numerical kind of vibes and the shifting of that and the realization, but also just considering that I'm looking at one calendar. It's the Gregorian calendar that we use today, right? And that may not be, the dates that we're using may not be, you know, the actual correct numerical sequence from the journey, representing the journey of consciousness and human evolution. So, I mean, it's fascinating, isn't it? So really, you're really like feeling it, girl gone. Kimberly is going through a period of receiving clarity and answers. Okay, good. Good. Yep, me too. But I'm also going through people misunderstanding me. Anybody else had anybody like misunderstand you lately or be bothered by something you said? That's happened to me several times now. Amarjeet, hello. Welcome to Creators on the Crest. Make yourself at home here at Frequency Friday. We're going to go into some collective messages here soon. I've got some oracle cards, which are super duper powerful, that I did a little bit differently for today. And we're going to do elemental tarot readings, and we're going to do a guidance card for each sign. So it's going to be a really cool Frequency Friday. I wanted to break it down into the elements because everything is so retrograde right now and in such review. So definitely wanted to do that. Girl Gone says, if you add 12, like 1 + 2 is 3, the illusion and manifesting and creating, that's the calendar we fall in right now. 1 + 3 = 4, which is alignment in the elements and in all kinds of things. And that's the other calendar. Very interesting. But anyways, I don't want to spam your feed with numbers. That would be just such an interesting topic, though. I jotted it down because it would be cool to talk like on a Frequency Friday about that and maybe do more into the numbers. I'm really fascinated by like the life path number. And then there's a whole numerology like grid you can do for yourself, and you could do it for your kids, and you can like just, it helps you understand so much because that is one. Numbers could be argued that you are, when you're communicating, you're breaking it down into the simplest language, which may be numbers, the 1 and the 0, right? The on and the off. Kimberly says, yes, clarity from and with other people has always been a challenge, but receiving answers for long-term health stuff is an interesting dichotomy. Yes, very interesting. Again, going back to the body, right? Tressa brought up at the very beginning, going back to that body and really honoring and determining what the body needs. Yeah. You know, the clarity, the misunderstandings with others, I'm noticing more recently, since I'm in the midst of shifting out of some very deeply patterned people-pleasing tendencies. And as I begin to use more directness and speak more truly, and also make mistakes because I'm not perfect yet, I still have hesitation in the energies of my communication. This is especially coming up in like closer dynamics. I still am misstepping myself. So I want to, you know, I'm not just saying they misunderstood me because I'm evolving or something, you know, hoity-toity. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's a version of me that's being birthed that people are going to have to determine if they can continue to be in relationship with, because it is going to be different. It is evolving from the previous, because we're closing out cycles here. So this retrograde has a lot of intense review energies going on, right? So many of you you're reviewing different things, going deeper. So we're in the Scorpio season as well, which takes us right into the depths. We had the G4 geomagnetic storm, which you guys might remember if you use Amazon, love it or hate it, that it went down. There was a day it went down. Some other websites went down. You might have seen some emails come out about, oh, sorry, our website was down, that kind of thing. So that continues to affect the geomagnetics here floating around on the surface. And then we had the X5 solar flare ground level events. Everything is just hitting us with these powerful upgrades. I think maybe that scroll gone, you know, you're getting a download, which really is turning into an upgrade because it's blasting open something in you and your conscious awareness, right? Talked a lot about consciousness on the last tarot and tea as well, and having to do with that. We've got 2 days ago, let me know if you felt it, Mercury retrograde went conjunct with Mars and Sagittarius. And there was lessons in that because the Mercury is retrograding while Mars in Sagittarius says, go do something, do it, take action. But then there's these maybe inability to take the action you wanted to take, or you are more cautious about not getting into the same mistakes you've made before, not overextending yourself perhaps, or something like that. And then we have all these planets in retrograde: Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Chiron, Uranus, and Neptune. Whew. That's a lot. That's six significant planetary bodies retrograde. So everything is meant to slow down, even if you're feeling that push to speed up. And I've seen it come up too in dynamics where like in the coaching industry, like life coaching and stuff, or like business coaching, you know, a lot of the messages have to do with taking action, do the things that no one else will do, jump into the hard stuff, do, take, act, consistency, consistency, consistency. And it's that constant like push. And I'm seeing people question that approach in themselves because they do need the rest, they do need the relaxation. Maybe bringing in, maybe that is like the masculine Mars energy pushing forward, and perhaps the feminine energies are saying, wait a minute, we're feeling this slowdown though. Can we find the balance in all of this and still have momentum? Because slowdowns are still momentum. They just offer a different perspective, and that's one way to look at it. It's not like you're stopping. It's not like you're getting completely stuck, even though some people may feel that way at times, or it may appear that way. There are things going on. There are things going on. So the 16th and the 17th, I think we have the new moon in Scorpio coming up. Is it the 19th? But the 16th and 17th, the sun in Scorpio enters the grand trine, which is that water grand trine, that Jupiter in Cancer, which is retrograde, and Saturn in Pisces, which is retrograde. Wow, so the sun in Scorpio is going to take us into the depths of these planetary retrogrades as well. So we're dealing with, it's not only Mercury retrograde, it's just the one people seem to know the most about. There's multiple powerful retrogrades going on right now in the astrology, and I think some of you have spoken to some things that you're really feeling that, or you feel that push-pull dynamic. So I want to get into the oracle reading. Today, I really wanted to break it down into some of the more simple elements. And so I went very guided and elementally into selecting oracle cards, and I wanted to spend a little time reflecting on them. So instead of drawing them during the reading, I've already selected them, and then I reflected on each one and took some notes. And I think you'll find there'll be some helpful guidance in these different oracle messages. I can't say that every oracle message will resonate with every person, but there may be one that stands out to you. And you know me, if you've been here at Creators on the Crest, I always say trust your own inner guidance, trust your inner wisdom to guide you through which of these messages really apply to you. You may also find that these messages apply to different aspects of your life. So maybe one of the messages applies in one arena and another message applies somewhere else. Maybe one of them has to do with how you're relating externally. Maybe one has to do with how you're relating internally. So be sure to use your critical thinking, your intuition, your instincts, and make those decisions for yourself. Okay, let me get a sip of water. It's a great time if you like to take notes to go ahead and grab your journal, grab your notebook. A lot of times you'll write down when you're in the experience, you'll write down things that mean a lot. It's just coffee today, y'all. It's just coffee today. All right, so we're going to try to, we're going to go deep, but we're going to break it down and we're going to be more elemental and try to simplify things a little today, because when we are in our creator being mode, we are processing a lot of information at once. And so that is something that, we definitely want to pay attention to and pay mind to, and not judge it, but let it be what it is. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off today with the Elemental Oracle. This is a deck by Stacy DeMarco. Okay. And I really love this deck, and I was really surprised with the card that I pulled today. It's the number 21, so the 2 + 1 is 3. So we do have 21 and 3 as possible numerology. I will bring attention to that. And we have a representation here. Let me show you the card. Whoop, there we go. So this is a depiction of the artist Frida Kahlo. I hope I said Kahlo, I think it is, Frida. And she really had a love of animals. So she was an artist. She had a lot of self-portraits that she did. She was very unapologetically herself. She did not bend to society's rules. And although this entire card is about companionship and animals, and you see the giraffe, there's a wolf, a raccoon, fox, snake, parakeet, horse, kangaroo, bunny rabbit, another kind of bird, and a lizard of some kind, and amphibian or a reptile of some kind here. So whatever animal comes into your vision the most, or into your heart, that would be a good one to work with, of course. But this card, I felt like, was a huge reminder that we should allow ourselves, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but somebody needs to hear this, allow yourself to express, even if what you're expressing is unconventional, is not the norm, is not the everyday. Allowing yourself to express truly and authentically who you are. This has been a theme, and this is a theme to reflect on during the retrograde. In addition to that, it's about being seen and witnessed in your authenticity. So it's kind of that, Frida was very unapologetic. And so we can learn from her to say, how can I be unapologetically me? I'm still compassionate me. I'm still nurturing me. I'm still caring me. I've got all my goals, but how can I really stand in my authenticity, express myself, communicate from that place of really being witnessed? And that can be really difficult, especially if you're going through anything like I'm going through and you felt like you've been misunderstood lately. So let me know in the comments, what does this image bring up for you? Is there an animal totem that is standing out here to you? Have you heard of Frida Kahlo? Do you know of her artistry and her story? It's very intriguing. And one of the things to consider here is how the different animals have different superpowers, different characteristics. So let me know in the comments, what animal might you be relating to? Or does a characteristic of one of the animals really stand out to you? How might you be expressing yourself from that deep place of authenticity, even with the risk of other people misunderstanding you, right? That can happen, and that's okay. We have to be willing to be that authentic version of ourselves anyway. Yes, I really do believe Frida is one of the greats. Very unique, very, she really challenged a lot of the norms during her time. And you could say that truly she was one of those maybe natural feminists, right? And really worked with that divine feminine energy while also really, really valuing and unapologetically being who she was. Now, oftentimes she's got like the unibrow, and that is something like the hair that on the face. I know there's lots of societal norms around shave all this and do all this, and you've got to look like this, right? And then there was her who said, I'm just going to be who I am. I honor my indigenous roots. I honor my self-expression. I'm not going to change or alter, right? And what a big message that is, because look at what we see today in a lot of the mainstream. Is see a lot of people, unfortunately, falling into that trap of really feeling like they have to physically alter themselves. And that just all creeps into the whole AI and transhumanism stuff and the filters and everything like that, right? So, we step in these arenas in and out. And this is about learning how to step forward as our authentic self with our wrinkles, with our zits, with our pimples, with whatever it is, right? Our blemishes and, our vein that sticks out when we smile out of our forehead, and just be ourselves, right? This is Frida Kahlo, Hello Kitty. Yes, this is Frida. I love this picture. I love this card. Her ability to continue her art even with her back. Yes, so she had hospitalization and surgeries, and she was one who took her pain and was able to express it in an artistically creative way. Yeah, I mean, really a powerful, powerful soul for sure. Her struggle to still be and express who she is no matter what really speaks. Yes. And that's what I'm talking about. And wow, it's a journey, isn't it? I mean, with all the challenges she faced, she was still able and committed to being unapologetically who she was and express herself that way. I can't say that I've always been able to do that. I was raised in in the church, and you behaved a certain way and you dressed a certain way and you did things a certain way. A lot of us are exposed to that, right? And while there's so much uniqueness and diversity across the world, like so much more than what we see on the little black screens, right? We tend to get lost in the way things should look, the images we're given, instead of really going deep within ourselves and connecting with our own creativity, our own spark, our ancestry, and really allowing us to be exactly who we are. I know at first I was like, why'd I get this card? And I was like, companionship animals. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is Frida. This is Frida. And when we're talking about Scorpio season and going down to the elements and really breaking things down more simply, it was about her unapologetic self-expression, her ability to express and create even through the most challenging circumstances. So she's a very uplifting character in that way. Girl Gone says, I'm inside a group chat, and that's exactly what we're doing right now. Oh, really? So you're in another chat that's doing something along the lines of with this card. Letting ourselves be ourselves, no matter how crazy it might sound. Yes, right. And, sometimes it's the energies that have that forward awareness that do sound crazy. two people at crazy, I'll say crazy, two people at first, but it really is such a beautiful thing to be able to commit to who you truly are, right? And meet yourself at the best place you're able. We all still have our wounding, we all still have our growth, we all still make mistakes, but to be able to meet yourself at that level, right? And a lot of people with intuitive gifts, empathic gifts, have been persecuted and made to hide, made to shadow themselves, their art, their creation. I mean, some of her art is very much into things that might be hard for people to swallow, into death and into pain, right? But expressing it through art transmutes it. That's the beautiful thing about it. And I think that's what people forget sometimes. So how might you be transmuting the energies? And she comes up with such a lovely figure. And then, of course, like the beautiful loving relationship and bond you can have with an animal, or even observing an animal in the wild, right? And really connecting deeply with those energies. I know animal totems come into my meditations and my dreams a lot to help inform me of different characteristics. And so that was really, really, something that I was like, okay, with Frida and with the animals, and the animals kind of pull us into that instinctual primal place where like they don't even need permission to be who they are. They just instinctually are who they are, right? And so like really blending those energies together. And she had like pet monkeys. Her story is so fascinating. I'm not going to go all the way into it, but read up on Frida Kahlo. What a beautiful energy and a card to come through. I really like that one today. Okay. We're going to stick a little bit with the animal vibe here because I was also called to share from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. Okay. And this is the little guidebook that goes along with it. And strangely enough, when I drew the card and I read the book's interpretation of it, I was like getting different things. So I made some different notes. We got a water element creature, the octopus here. All right. Girl Gone has a Frida t-shirt and read her story of being herself, even though she was judged. Yes. I love that. I love that. Dragon. You're feeling dragon energy? This is I mean, are you talking about this card or did you see something else in the card? Because there were a lot of animals in this other card. Octopus. Okay, so now we're shifting into this. This kind of gave me the feeling of like the water, because it's got the water symbol, water grand trine that's coming up, elements, the octopus energy. So my thoughts on this were, or my feelings on this were, maybe carry this energy forward with you a little bit. If you haven't worked with octopus spirit totem before, maybe you begin to test it out. And I love that the octopus has, all these 8 arms, right? They regenerate. We're doing a lot of review in these retrograde. It is an ability, like Teresa mentioned at the very beginning, she's honoring the rest in her body. Rejuvenation can also be something that octopus stands for. But what was really interesting to me, of course, the octopi are very intelligent creatures. They have a high intelligence, and their ability to focus on what they need to accomplish or what they need to do is very essential to their movements. And so if you think about the essential things, if you're really able to break down in your life right now, what are the essential things you need to accomplish? And if we can simplify it in the sense of we don't have to overthink, oh, I've got to, get all these subscribers by this date. And, you could put it into this glamorous specific framework. But I don't think octopus is calling us to do that, because octopus is more flexible. Octopus is movement, is flow. All right. So if we can just take some of the simple essentials, like, okay, I'd like to increase my budget by that, and just leave it at that. Or I'd like to work on my website because that's what's going to take me to the next step. Maybe I'm going to create my freebie. Now it's time to deal with the shipping of my crowdfunded comic as I disperse it out to people, whatever it might be, right? What are some of the essentials? And can you break it down into its smaller components? Take one tentacle at a time, perhaps. The flexibility is important here. And then I also wrote this down, and to be honest, at the time I wrote it down, I didn't know what it meant, but I'm looking through it right now and I'm feeling into it more. I wrote the understanding of emotions and the connection to wisdom and intelligence. So some of you may be feeling that becoming apparent to you in these retrograde energies as you're reviewing and you're having a look at things and you're feeling your way through things, is that your emotions and how they're informing you are connected to a great wisdom and intelligence. Maybe you're hearing those emotions speak through your body, since that's been brought up today, honoring the body, honoring the rest. So just some food for thought there. Daniel says, oh, a dragon eye on the book. Yes, that is a dragon eye there. And there's definitely some dragon, or at least one dragon card in this deck, and some eggs. I think there's like dragon eggs in here too. It's a cool deck that I need to explore more. Daniel says in Buddhism, the 8 auspicious symbols like the lotus, the endless knot, and the wheel are sacred emblems representing the blessings and virtues of enlightened speech, mind, and body. Ooh. I love the lotus. The endless knot. In my head, what comes up right away is like the Celtic knots. But this is the endless knot in Buddhism, and the wheel are the sacred emblems. Beautiful. I love that. The eightfold path. Yes, the eightfold path. Thank you for sharing that, Daniel, bringing in these different perspectives. I love how each of you brings in like these unique angles and can really pull on the different elements and the different traditions and the essences of what's important to share. And it's the Strength card. Yep, and a number of abundance as well, but abundance through flow. I'm really getting through flow, not through force. Abundance through flow, not force. That came up a lot in this. Yes. Well, there's your, yes. So Girl Gone, you got your little dragon wink there from the universe. Oh, you don't have to shut up. I'm so glad you guys are sharing. I'll kind of talk and then I catch up to the comments, but I'm so glad to share because each of you will see different angles to the cards and compare it to your experience. That's what creators do. That's why I love this community so much. I love the lit up energy in the crown of the octopus, signifying the intelligence. So I got the other angle that I want to mention because we're in Scorpio season. So if we dive a little bit deeper into the shadows here and we talk about the messiness that could come about in relationships in particular, because the octopus is kind of boundaryless. So if any of you happen to be working on boundaries in any relationship, right, or multiple relationships, octopus can help with that. Sometimes there's a need, and have you ever seen an octopus like fit itself into a container, into a boundary, right? It's very liquid, it's very fluid in the sense that there's no bones in there, right? So it can contort and it can fit into these containers, and you're like, how did that even get in there, right? So there may be sometimes this feeling of, I don't know how I'm going to express myself. Daniel was talking about enlightened speech. We're talking about Frida Kahlo, self-expression, unapologetically, right? And so the octopus we can work with this energy to learn how to get used to it in our own safe container, and then allow ourselves to set those boundaries in those containers with others, right? So a lot of wisdom coming through here. This could represent redefining closeness, so what it means to be in close proximity. It can represent your energies of being drawn to someone or recoiling from someone, which we have talked about lately, noticing how our body feels in the presence of different people, and how, we might get a warming sensation and be drawn into someone, and there might be someone else where we're like, I need to go take a salt bath after dealing with them. And, I won't be talking to anyone until tomorrow morning, right? And so that's the kind of energy that I really pulled out of this card when I looked at it. The book was kind of focused on just boundaries itself, which I think is a great thing to blend in, but it really felt like the connection of the emotions and the emotional flow to that higher intelligence, being a flexible energy that we could work with. And I felt strongly about that when I was looking at that card. Okay. I think the strength card, its more elevated meaning is through flow, the woman casually riding or just being with the lion, right? Rather than struggling with it. Absolutely. Girl Gone, I noticed this energy just last night, and in my group chat, a lot of people woke up reflecting on past and present situations. All right, so we've got Frida and her animals and many animals in that card. We've got the octopus. I wanted to move in next to a crystal from the Daily Crystal Inspiration. So kind of want to get into that earth energy a little bit and see what was coming up for us and coming up for creators, and some of this reflective energy, these retrograde. A lot has been discussed here at Creators on the Crest about lack and abundance, and here we are talking about the number 8, so it kind of flows into the crystal helper that I pulled, and we got pyrite, and it says, let the money flow, keyword flow in. Let the money, and you could also replace that with resources, right? Let the money, that could be a resource of time, a resource of a grant, a resource of somebody helping you, a collaboration. And pyrite, as you might know, is also called fool's gold, yet it is a very powerful teacher. All right, so often because of its color and what it looks like, it's mistaken for gold. But it can teach us so much. And it was actually very valuable, from what I understand, to indigenous people who would work with this. It creates a spark when you hit it against itself or another hard object. And so it can be used, pyre, P-Y-R, that preface, fire. It can be used to start fires. So it's a very resourceful stone in and of itself. It's a very resourceful conglomeration in and of itself. So it creates sparks. And I was really sensing that as like the sparks within us, the things that as we slow down and we're reflecting, we're getting those sparks of wisdom, much like Girl Gone was talking about the 369, right? Bye, Daniel. Yes, we'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping in. I always love when you guys drop in and say hi. Yeah, definitely check out Daniel's Psychonaut Sessions, his YouTube channel. He's also on Instagram and Facebook, so check him out, especially if you're in the comics. He's very creative, very, very creative. Okay, so this is about letting things flow in, attracting money and abundance, okay? And prosperity, right? And so the retrograde energies are here and having us reflect on maybe figuring out where we've been blocking some of that energy, forcing some of that energy, faking some of that energy, right? With the fool's gold. But there's a lot of wisdom also in the experience of foolishness, right? We see sometimes foolishness as ignorance, but is there value to something that appears to have something of more value but is not? Isn't that interesting? I think during this retrograde too, it really is sensing into those areas of the self where we feel like we haven't shown up authentically, or, like Frida, we haven't been able to express ourselves. And so that's coming up as well as attracting in and allowing in the prosperity, the abundance, allowing it to flow in. Pyrite would indicate to us that, yes, have a focus. Remember the octopus energy that we just had. Have a focus on your financial goals. Maybe right now, though, you don't have such a tight grasp on it, right? Maybe you work on boundaries with it, but not trying to control or force the energies around this, right? It doesn't mean you don't take action. It doesn't mean you don't have momentum and motivation. You still have those things. You want to get yourself to a place where you have those things if they're feeling deficient. And at the same time, it's like stepping into a stream and just flowing downstream with the natural flow. This is also what I wrote down. Creative ideas for yourself, even if they seem foolish or like they sound foolish to other people, which is very interesting. Girl Gone, you're in that other group who's practicing showing up authentically. No matter how foolish an idea you might have, you attach that other people might think it's foolish, even if you don't think it's foolish. Or you might think, wow, like that seems very delusional, like that Delulu is the Solulu, right? That's delusional. That doesn't make any sense. Does it have to make sense? Does it have to? Or can you allow these ideas to be unlocked and see where they flow and go? Okay, where they flow and go. This is also about, I got like a deeper meaning because I was thinking about how humanity attributes wealth to certain metals or to money or to status, right? So we've got all the societal angles of everything. But as creator beings, how do we find, and this is a question of reflection for everybody, how do we find ways to respect the energies of abundance without being ignorant to its misuse? Because we do live in a society where a lot of the resources, a lot of the funds and things that are floating around in exchange are being misused or misappropriated, right? And so there's that constant theme that flows into or pulls people in like an inverted kind of angle into that greed and into that I need to have more, while doesn't even matter if millions of other people are suffering and have little to nothing and are struggling every day, right? How can we hold that energy that we'd like to transform, because we'd like to see everybody be in these abundant flows, and there societally is this huge there's the matrix of that falls into the greed inversions. There's the matrix that falls into the lack, taking us out of our creative powers. So if it's delulu, y'all, if it seems foolish, let the ideas flow through you anyway. And that's what I was feeling, pyrite. Let these things light up, pyre. Let these ideas light up in you. So let me know in the comments, what do you feel? Like, even if it just feels like you've just started the fire, it's beginning to smolder, what is a new idea for you? Maybe it has to do with the way you'll approach your health. Maybe it has to do with the kind of work or career you would like to go into, the way you relate to people, the value that you find. So how do we respect that abundance energy and really go into those different angles of the flow of money and resources in our lives and the flow of energy between all of us in humanity while we're dealing with those very powerful and limiting inversions. Wow, right? We're really unlocking this from the inside out. And I really felt like this one came up for that reason, to remind us of that, this pyrite here. It is valuable, right? It does have value, and many of our ancestors knew that. But sometimes we forget that the spark of what you may label a foolish idea may actually be the delulu that is the solulu. And so pyrite was really coming through with that message as well, to see if you can dance into those areas. Let me know. Let me know you're still here in the comments. What did you vibe with pyrite? Do you own a piece of pyrite? You can usually find them pretty easy at the crystal shops and stuff, or online. Have you worked with pyrite before? And it's got this, let me read the appropriate. I don't know if I read it on here. It's the shape, it's the way that it branches out. And I forget what the actual crystal term is. I dabble in the mineral kingdom with the knowledge and wisdom and the scientific names, but I can't remember right now. But let me know. Do you work with pyrite? Did that flow for you? Did you feel that? And we're going to get into another card here. We've got 2 more to go in our oracle messages. And then we're going to shift gears into our tarot breakout readings. And I am feeling the heat, y'all. All of a sudden, I just felt the heat come up. So maybe it has to do with this next card. And maybe it's the pyrite kind of energies that are like burning out of me. I don't know. But I'll go with it. Just acknowledging what you feel in your body is important. So maybe we'll cool off a little here with the next message. We got the number 50 card coming from the Shaman's Dream Oracle. This is by Alberto Villoldo and Colette Baron Reed. We got Spirit of the River, movement toward adventure. And just let me hold this up for a moment so you can really look at this image here. Talk about an energy that cannot be contained, like the octopus. You know, it can go into a container, but it's very flexible otherwise. And I feel the flexibility and freedom in this card as well with the Spirit of the River. I got adaptability is something that maybe some of you are not giving yourself as much credit for. You're very adaptable. You're very resourceful. So in those times where things seem a little rough or tough, or you feel a little bit like cornered in, can you find and look for and embrace the ways that you feel adaptable and resourceful? All right? Can you? And it's just, just asking your own self the question first. Will you allow yourself to let go into a new adventure? Will you allow yourself to have more fun? Will you allow yourself to express more fully? The number 50 really is about adaptability, resourcefulness. When we break it down, 5 plus 0 is 5. This is an energy where we could get pulled into our edges, but with the 0 here, right? The number 5 pulling into the edges of the star. But with the 0 coming in here, it kind of returns us to that beautiful ledge that the Fool jumps off of in the tarot, right? And can we take the leap into the river? Can we work with some of these water grand trine energies that are coming up with Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces? And can we let go into the flow as much as possible? What areas of your life are you holding on to tightly and you need to let go? you might be wonderful with your abundance flow, but in your health flow or in your body, you feel stuck or stagnant somewhere, or vice versa. Or you may have pulled one lever and you feel like you made progress in one area, but not another, in relationships, perhaps. Where is it for you? And just, you could share if you feel called to share, but where are you being pulled to more adventure, to more flow? This can also indicate, what I wrote down here was, if you've been, excuse me, whew, the energy's coming up. If you've been trying to solve a problem, okay, for yourself or someone else, maybe this energy, Spirit of the River, invites us to take a step back from trying to solve a problem, maybe trying to find an immediate fix through efforting ourselves even more. So if we're trying to accomplish something, but effort after effort after effort is just falling short, can we step back from that? It doesn't mean we don't keep the momentum going, but can we disconnect from that? Perhaps is a better word. Disconnect energetically from that and let the efforts just kind of flow and speak for themselves without putting ourselves through the ringer even more. This is definitely a letting go energy. It also can indicate that forces beyond your control are at work. And so if you fight against those, you find yourself trying to, go upstream instead of flow downstream. And I also sensed that for a lot of us, this is representative of a turning point where we are saying yes to the next part of our journey. And the next part of our journey isn't going to limit us. It's not going to pressurize us. It's not going to control us as much because of what we're willing to let go within our own energies. And so, Spirit of the River, it's a dance, it's a flow, it's an invitation here, movement into more adventure. I thought that was a beautiful card. It feels very freeing once you've let go. But it's that moment, like, have you let go? Do you feel it? Girl Gone says, not yet on the pyrite, but definitely want to learn more about that crystal. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we've got the Spirit of the River, we've got the water energies, and maybe how each of us can work with that water grand trine coming up. Remember, we've got all these retrogrades and this slowdown, and we've got several of the signs, even the water signs, Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So we are bringing to wholeness a lot of the lessons that need to be wrapped up and let go in order for us to move into our expansion and our deeper purpose here. So, and really nurturing that relationship, right? Really feeling into it. Easier said than done, right? Depends on the day, depends on what's going on, but that takes us, let me read what Girl Gone said. To let go energy and reconnect energy and manifesting and shadow self energy have been hovering around me lately. Ooh, I really like how you describe hovering around. Yeah, and it's interesting to just observe that hovering energy and not try to solve it or control it. You're identifying with what it is. It's taking shape for you, but allowing that to take shape, allowing it to inform you and trusting your own inner guidance. Very, very interesting. Ashley, hello, Ashley. Ashley says, shadow, self energy, love how you said that. Same here. Yes. She loves how you said that. Yes. Okay. All right. If you want to share a little bit more about the shadow self, it actually comes up comes up in this next card. I love how when we're willing to communicate in the flow in the chat here, we really the energies all start to kind of come together, and you all are already picking up what is has already come up here. So your intuition is on point. I got you. Shadow self energy. Shadow self energy. Yes. I know, speech to text. You know, we're doing our best here with our technology. So I went to a deck that I don't normally go to because honestly, this oracle deck overwhelms me because it's so steeped in Norse legend. It's called Yggdrasil, and they're Norse divination cards. So remember earlier in the comments, Daniel was talking about like expressing, like the expression through the voice and the eightfold path. So I have Mercury in Gemini, and in the Vedic astrology, I'm actually a Gemini. So I'm Cancer according to tropical, but in Vedic, my birthday carries me into Gemini. And so that's important to me. I really put a lot of value on learning words and languages and evoking. I'm always very amazed by the people who speak multiple languages. I cannot. I know a little bit of several different languages, enough to be dangerous and maybe make my way around a city in that country. But other than that, like, it's a relationship that I want to build. And what I've found is that if I don't force myself too much with it, there's energetics that will reveal themselves in the pronunciations in the language. And of course, there's plenty of study guides and helpful videos out there on pronouncing Old Norse. If I do not pronounce this correctly, though, I apologize. If I do not give the actual traditional pronunciation to this card that we got, to this archetype, I do apologize. I am still learning on this. So the archetype that we got comes from Hel. According to Norse lore, it's Hel, which is the world of the dead or the underworld. So talking about shadow self energy here in Scorpio season, I'm not surprised that the card we got takes us directly to the underworld. And we got Modgud. And below that, it says the guardian of Jollibrew. The archetype that this connected to for me that I had heard about in other lore before was the ferryman, or sometimes you'll see when people are on the verge of passing from this world, they're on a ferry or they're taking a ferry or a ship across to the land of the dead, right? From whence they will continue their journey from there. They won't return. And oftentimes you'll see like a ferryman or something that has like a coin, like sometimes you give a coin and there's like an offering. This, however, Modgud is actually like the feminine representation, the daughter of a predominant Norse character, which I don't even know if I could say his name, Helgir, right? Yeah, isn't this such an interesting card? Like, just looking at the image itself, it's pretty like, what the heck is going on here? Right? It really is like, we see kind of this skull that really stands out, but the eyes are still like organic. There's tissue, and then there's like a greater being, maybe being, or is this a portal? I mean, look at this card. This deck is like, yes, this is part of Norse mythology. So this is a feminine energy, a feminine character who wasn't even really described like in this book about how she looked. So I couldn't say. This is something to maybe take into greater study. But this card represents, and when I felt into it, it was like a letting go. So remember, this is feminine passage into the underworld, a feminine death and rebirth kind of cycle, letting go of failed expectations, the projects you thought you were going to do that didn't work out the way you thought, or you were never able to get to. Maybe you never got to them for a reason. Maybe they're meant to be let go. What in your life can you let fall away? This also could represent some of the retrograde energies of maybe plans falling through or not working out, and how we connect to that energy or disconnect from the energy. This also could represent unfulfilled dreams. All right, like I didn't have enough time. Like it would be kind of like that regret energy we hear from people when they're at the end of life. I wish I wouldn't have worked so hard. I wish I would have spent more time with my loved ones. I wish I would have, right? It's addressing that, but getting the opportunity to address it now, present day, when we're not going, we're not on the ferry, we're very much alive. And so that shadow self energy might allow a little bit of journeying into this from the place of being very alive in this three-dimensional reality, so that we can recognize, okay, so these are the things I've accomplished, these are the things I've not accomplished, or they didn't work out the way I thought. This is unfulfilled. What are we going to let go? And what are we going to resurrect? What are we going to let die? So have there been some things on the shelf that you put on the shelf, project-wise, energy-wise, accomplishment-wise, that you'd like to go ahead and clear that shelf off and let it go? Maybe it's something to do with focusing so much on a relationship, having a significant other, having a partner, and things did not go as expected and in your life with the relationship. And so maybe that part of the shelf is getting cleared off, and your inner purpose, your next career move or something like that might be coming forward. For other people, it could be letting go of such a powerful work structure and focusing more on family. Maybe you just feel like that cow has been milked. It's been milked and it's out of milk now over there. So let's let it go. Let's let it go on to whatever it needs to go on to. If it's meant to come back around this journey, it will. These are some of these bigger things, because it's really carrying us over that bridge between life and death. And this is how, while we're very much alive, we can do some of that deeper shadow self energetic work as to really determining what will I let go of. Maybe it was 18-year-old me who came up with the idea that I would do that. And things just didn't work out that way. But what does 50-year-old me need to say now? Where would I like to take things? And is it time to clear off that shelf so something new can show up, so I can flow into something new? Because remember, this is the feminine energy here. Girl Gone says, definitely, because I watched a reel telling me this very thing, that emotions and feelings are supposed to be felt, not suppressed. They're part of the lesson. Yes. And it is like one of those things too, where in your mind, you might be ready to move on to something else. But if there's emotional energies that are still lingering, that are tied into that are connected to the things, to the lack of fulfillment in some way, those emotions will need to be processed. And I think that's kind of has to do with the passage. And Modgood is kind of the regulator of that passage of like, oh, nope, you still have to work on that, right? So I think it's a really cool energy to go into that shadow work with, and not fear it, but learn from it, to learn from it. So I want to work with this deck more. I want to read up and get the correct pronunciations because those kind of things matter to me, but we're going to roll with it. We're going to let ourselves, one of the things that I struggle with early in life, and to this day, I still struggle with it, is allowing myself to be a beginner. I don't have all the answers. I don't always perfectly express myself, but can I show up anyway and allow myself to be a novice, right? I have expertise in some things and I'm very much a novice in others. And can we allow that realness, that authenticity to come out, right? So obviously, like, I can dance up and down the entire tarot deck and have read tarot for so long. I'm so comfortable with it, right? But when I go into Norse mythology, I'm like, what? How do I even pronounce that? What does that mean? Like, oh my goodness. And it's unlocking it for me because I have some ancestry connected to that. It's unlocking it from the inside out and allowing myself, it is truly maybe even not a beginning, but a reconnection and a remembrance. Because I feel like these retrogrades, they carry us into all the re's, like remember, repattern, rewire, all of those kinds of things going on inside of us. So food for thought there with the oracle reading. A little bit different way of doing it today, but I felt it was a lot of fun. And for those of you just joining, please say hi in the chat and know that we are getting ready to get into some breakout tarot readings, and I'm going to go into the elements. So most of you will know probably your sign, and if you want to drop it in the chat, please do. We're going to be going into the elements of fire, earth, air, and water. So we're going to do tarot readings for fire signs, earth signs, air signs, water signs, probably in that order. And the question we're going to ask today is, how are you reconnecting to your vision for these upgrades? Because you guys might have noticed on the thumbnail, it was retrograde to upgrade, right? Retrograde to upgrade. This retrograde energy, this combination of retrograde energies is extremely powerful right now for us to do all the remembering, the reconnecting, the releasing, to distinguish all those things and actually do the work. But how are you reconnecting to your vision, to your purpose? So all those things on the shelf that need to be cleared off, the things you're going to let go, the things that you may be trying to force, you're going to let flow now, right? This is upgrade energy. Girl Gone was talking about the downloads. The downloads come in to upgrade the technology, which is you. You are the technology. So let me know wow, guys, we're going in. We're going in. Let me know how you feel about this. We're going to start with fire. Just felt important for some reason. Maybe it's because I pulled the Pyrite card earlier. We're using the Light Seers Tarot deck today for these little breakout readings. So we're going to start with fire, and then I'm going to pull a card, a guidance card for each fire sign: Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. And then we're going to proceed on to earth and so on. But let's start with fire today. Deep breath, clearing out. The oracle reading just really carried me some places. So I'm going back in now. We're connecting with the fire element and its amazing alchemical ability to transmute and transform. Jason and I have spent some time. We got a little outdoor fire pit where we can burn brush and stuff, and burning the brush and just being outside during these shorter daylight hours for where we're at, and just observing the fire, and just the process is immense. And therefore, those of you that have that powerful fire sign energies within you, that you feel that, you exude that at times. Okay. And you are ready to talk fire signs. So Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries, let's talk a little bit about the energies that are coming up for you. Strangely, we're not getting any wands for you. We are getting grounding energies of the earth and watery energies of the cups. So first off, we got the Ten of Pentacles fire signs. Where I do really sense the warmth and fire is in this big emblem up here, right? This huge pentacle up here. In that red color, in that very rooted, the blood color, right? The oxygenated blood. There is power to your vision. And the way that I sense you're using this time to reconnect, is in a very rooted way that has a lot of depth. I also feel for some of you that it is not so hard for people to see the level of work that you're doing and how you're reconnecting. Something is becoming apparent. We have the Kabbalistic tree of life here, right? So something, a sign, a symbol, a direction is becoming apparent out of the deep connection you have to your inner vision, to your inner fire. And it's glowing. It's glowing. You can also see that this fire at this time, it's not so intense that it's overwhelming everyone. They're still able to have fun and to interact. So that's good news, because this time while you're reconnecting to your vision, you're also able to navigate with this powerful glow energy. You're able to navigate social situations, perhaps better than some of the other elementals. Possibly you're able to have fun amidst reconnecting with this very powerful vision, but it also feels very rooted. Pentacles are of the earth. And I'm just imagining like a fire pit in the earth, like, or a campfire, and you're just building and you're glowing and you're putting it together. Let me just hold that card a little closer because there's a lot going on. The energy that I'm sensing for you is that while you have this depth of rootedness inside, you are very connected externally too. You may feel, while some people might kind of recoil a little bit more during this time or go more inward as a fire sign, you might feel more external at this time. Like you want to get out, have a good time. You want to see people, you want to observe, you're going to move, you're going to carry this like rooted glow that you have with you. For some, like there might be like a bit of like that glow of like pregnancy vibes. And so that's a message for like a small group or one or two of you about that. So might be a good time for that if you're looking for that, or if you're not looking for that, just beware, because the fire is glowing and it's pulsing, and that can be very attractive force for that kind of an energy. The reason I say I also feel like part of how you're reconnecting to your vision is what you're witnessing externally. You're letting the external world inform you. You're letting friendships inform you. You got the Three of Cups. And this is a beautiful energy of coming together in companionship, brotherhood, sisterhood. And so fire signs right now, there's something about you being around others that is helping reconnect you to your vision. That could come up in ways that you find similarities in people. It could also come up in ways that you find dissimilarities, like ways that you're not like others. But it does feel to me that your ability to be social during this time is very much informing you and reconnecting you to your vision and going to help you with these upgrades. So if you're a fire sign and you have been maybe hermiting a little, just find that place you can go and get out a little bit, because I do believe you're informing yourself by traveling a little outside and in groups and in friendships and in these ways. And honestly, it feels very good. It feels like you're going to be able to root it in and anchor it in to that very warm, stable glow. It's kind of like the hearth, the Olympic torch that never stops glowing, you know, like that we keep it lit, the beacon, right? And it's your vision, it's your inner goals, it's your inner strength, it's your purpose in the world. And now what's coming through that and why I got the energy of, I feel like some of you are going to be focused on similarities and some dissimilarities. We got the 7 of Cups. You're being given through these experiences of you being more extroverted and external right now during a time where these energies are all in review, is going to, for some of you, maybe you have felt like your options are closed off and the options are going to be opening up for you. 7 of Cups is about choices and having choices. Now, it can present a little bit of an energy of, it's hard for me to make this choice. I don't know what to choose. So sometimes when we're putting ourselves out there, extending ourselves and informing ourselves through witnessing others and dynamics, right? In friendships, families, etc. Sometimes it's easier to see what you don't want to do than to choose what you do need to do. And I think that's the lesson and that's the experience that you're going to be having. But there's power in this. So we can see here, he's like, wait a minute, like, where's the golden egg? You know, which one of these little huts do I lift up? Very interesting. One of them is showing a river flowing out of it. One of them shows like a ladder that could represent like hard work, climbing the corporate ladder. Some of you are going to be faced, fire signs are going to be faced with the decisions of, do I choose that again? Or do I choose the path that I can flow on? Is there, now there's actually a dragon wing. There you go, girl, got a little dragon wing coming out of one. Is there something, before I get into the flow here, is there something I need to resolve in my consciousness that is being informed by my experiences in friendships and with other people? Out of another one is crawling the snake. Is there something you're shedding? Right? But you're allowing yourself to be informed. And this allowance is reconnecting you to your vision. You do have some choices to make. And I don't think it's always going to feel the easiest. Sometimes it's choosing to work on one thing though, and then allowing the other, knowing the other will still be there. Not every time. Okay, so you know how that saying goes, when one door closes, another opens? In this case, for you fire signs, it feels like when you pick one choice of how you're going to focus your vision for your life moving forward, the other doors aren't closing. They're just still there and you can come back to them. So while you're in these retrograde energies, it actually feels very good for you and for me to you to say to you, you have options here. And if you need to work on something for a little bit, or you've got some sort of subconscious pattern that you're resolving, go ahead and take care of that before you come into this flow. And that's okay. That may be needed. That might be what's valuable about this time, and how you getting out and communicating with others, looking at how you are in situations, how they are, the behaviors, what you're anchoring in, what you're going to do and not do, what you're going to carry forward and let go. These are becoming apparent through your interactions during this time. So I'm also seeing a bit of, it's like a little tattoo on this character's face, but I don't think it's a tattoo. I think it's some dirt or maybe some, if you think about a fire that puts off ash, if you get a little ash on your face, and this like arm and hand are a little bit dirty there. It might, this time might have some of you feeling a little worse for the wear. Like you're like, okay, I need to like, now I need to like shower and clean off of all this energy, but not before it informs you. And I'm also seeing like, and I saw this in my last tarot and tea. This is a message for someone out there, someone who's tuning in. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes. And that's coming up again here. So anyone who's connected to that phoenix rising from the ashes energy, I keep getting this message for you. That's an embodiment that you're coming into. But the ashes are a very important part. It's what has been transmuted. It's what feeds the energy of the rise. And so that's I get that. I get that for some of you. Let me know if that's you. I find like people will be, they'll know if they're connected to that Phoenix energy. All right, let's get a guidance card for our Sagittarian tribe first, since we're about to, not too long here, enter into Sagittarius season right around the corner. And yeah, we'll see what guidance. This is coming from the Sacred Traveler Oracle by Denise Lynn. All right, let's see. What is the highest and best message of guidance for Sagittarius specifically? Whew, there you go. And this is reminding me so much of the Temperance card, which is your card in the tarot. You got Ascending the Mountain, keep going forward, Sagittarius. Keep going forward. And that is very much your natural energy. Go ahead, and even with the ashes, go ahead and make that choice, Saggy, knowing that the other doors are not necessarily closing. You may have more than one open door. You may have more than one path you can go to reach your milestone or your destination. So this to me feels like a very reassuring message for the Sagittarius tribe out there, that your tenacity and your ability to keep going forward is going to pay off, even though you may not be able to see from that vantage point quite yet. Keep going forward, ascending the mountain. And that can mean the ascending through that shadow self as well. That can absolutely mean that. Let's get a card for Leo next. Leo energies, our lion hearts, our lions and our lionesses, the highest and best guidance message for Leo right now as they're reconnecting to their vision, to that power and strength of their heart. Leo, you're getting a little bit of a nudge of protection here. You are protected by the angels and you are cherished by the angels. So I feel like the lion's getting a little bit of a little pet right now, a little like, I've got you. I love the golden energy, the golden, orangey, yellow energy. I'm seeing the colors of a lion themselves, right, is really, really shining through here. You Leos may be just needing a little bit of attention, and you may be getting it here from the other side, from your guides, from your sacred ancestors. I work with angel energy differently than most. I work with the angels and their energies, both light and shadow, more as like teachers. And in this one, I'm kind of going to be honest, I'm getting like a bit of a King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table kind of feel for you Leos here. Some of you may have, you may be a protector, or you may be working during this time. One of the ways that you're reconnecting to your vision and your purpose is by protecting your energies, becoming the energy of protection itself, inherent to you, embodied in you. So I am getting kind of that Knights of the Round Table lore there. There may be some active energies going on for you there with self-protection or protecting your vision, protecting your children, your pack, coming up during this time. And in that role, you are reconnecting. Girl Gone, you've got 3 helping that is coming to your awareness. Wow, that's great. You have like a trio. Cool. Okay. I need the highest and best guidance message for our Aries tribe today. Highest and best message for Aries. First house energy. I just did a little short for Aries, so be sure to check that out if you've got that Aries fire. Ooh, wow, Aries. And I have seen changes and shifts in the Aries energy over the past couple years as I've been doing readings, especially their readings. There's there in the Aries tribe and vibe, there just seems to be this willingness to go to the places that you wouldn't normally go to. Like you'd normally just take action towards something, but this is like feeling your way into things. And you got Mystic Healer. Wow, Aries. Healing energy flows through you. And yes, so it's this shift of you pushing outward, Aries, into allowing the energy to flow through you. That this is inherent to you. We've got a little owl up here, so a little bit of wisdom. We've got the moon being represented, which is, you know, very, very different. You've really been exploring your opposite energies, I feel, Aries, and you've really been embodying those in a much different way than what we would traditionally expect from Aries, which I love to see, because when I look at the Aries energy, can you all hear Blaze in the background there? Blazer the Morky, he always likes to let us know what's going on. Somebody must be here that he likes, because he kind of has a certain bark when he's like, oh, it's family, you know. But Aries, like, you're the first house energy. So if you're able to shift, you're kind of like the personality lead of the zodiac. And if you're able to shift into these energies, which are, you know, maybe fundamentally different from your own, to me, this speaks to you being the leader through a different kind of evolution, which I really love seeing the mystic healing going on here. Obviously, I love that, because it's not as brash, typical Aries energy. It's soft and flowy, and allowing it to be discovered, be uncovered, be revealed. I really like that. I really like what the Aries energy has done. Not to brag on you too much, but really, really love that. Okay, did I have any fire signs? Did anything stand out to you there? Just a quick note, when I read our sun, moon, rising, and north node energies, kind of forming like a 4-pillar, a foundational energy. But you might also have fire in like Mars, you know, might have a fire placement. Venus might have a fire placement. So then you would look at, okay, how would that be showing up if it's Venus? Let's say you're Leo and Venus. Could be showing up in your relationships, right? In your intimate relationships, in your sexual life and stuff like that, right? So be sure to adjust depending on what planetary placements you have there. Let's get into our earth signs next. We're going to go into earth signs, and we're asking, how are the earth signs reconnecting to their vision? Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. How are you reconnecting to your vision for these very precious upgrades that we're getting during this reflection time, during this remembrance. And oh my goodness, I shuffle, and similar cards come out. This is just how it goes sometimes. Ooh, I'm getting the word existential for earth signs here. Whew. And you also, like the fire signs, dealing with some water element energy. So there may be a little bit of doing things differently, but for you, I also get a more nourished, like this time is important to nourish yourself, revitalize yourself, remineralize yourself. That's what it feels like. You know how the earth in places, or like in summertime when there's not a lot of rain, it can be really dry and cracked and like no grass is growing there? That's what I'm seeing. This time is allowing you to pour the water, to plant the seeds, pour the water, and rejuvenate and revitalize. So these retrogrades for you are really helping you bring life back into your vision. And like the fire signs, the first card up though this time instead of the last, you got the 7 of Cups. Choices are open to you. Some of you, it feels like, are going to have a little work ahead of you, or you are dedicating yourself to working on a certain aspect of your life. Perhaps with the next card I'm going to show you, it'll be your spiritual world, your spiritual nature. The ladders are standing out even more to me. I think to some degree, because you work with the earth energies, you can navigate the 3D reality with more comfort at times, like Taurus energy, very comfortable in those energies. Capricorn, the earth magician. Virgo, putting all the pieces together of what they're seeing, being able to analyze and bring it into a summary, and then make their move from there, rise up from there, climb up from there. I do feel like you have a bit of a climb here in this this revitalization. So it may not feel during this cycle like it's coming easy. The best you can do to prioritize revitalizing, remineralizing, regrowing what needs grown inside of you, your connection to it, the better. And the ladders and now the stairs are really standing out to me. I do think you have an upward journey, but the important thing to focus on here with the Hierophant is that it is an upward journey. This is the up leveling and the upgrading, and your solid feet climbing those rungs or stepping on each step are symbolic and carry you into that spiritual journey that you're embarking on. There's more challenge for you, earth signs, I feel, than I did with the fire, in the sense that practically speaking, I do sense a little more of that efforting, a little more of that, like I have to take the step to create the momentum, especially if you've been feeling like you've been a bit stuck or you've been a bit unable to take a step forward. But this up leveling is implied on a very emotional, spiritual level. And that emotional energy, that water nourishes that dry, cracked earth, or the parts of you, especially if you've connected into some shadow self energy, of the energy of giving up. What's the point? A nihilistic sense of like, why go on? Every time I do this, nothing ever works out for me. That kind of, it just keeps cracking that earth, and it's not nourishing it. Some of you, if you've been stuck in those patterns, if you've been stuck in that, what do I want to call it? I don't want to call it a mindset. It's like a kind of like a pitfall is what I get. Kind of like a pitfall and you have to kind of climb your way out. The way you're going to be doing that is carrying you toward and moving you toward deeper spiritual understandings, emotional maturity, and a powerful connection to your heart. And this is where you tell yourself, it's worth it. I'm worth it because I'm coming into a mastery of these emotional energies, and those energies that have dried me out, that have caused cracks in my foundation. This is very much about you replenishing your foundational energies, your foundational frequencies. They're all going to get watered and nourished with the King of Cups, because the King of Cups relaxes into the heart space. Look at the way these two characters are sitting. They're using the earth or the sand, right, to ground in their energies, but they're relaxed. They're letting laughter come when laughter needs to come. Despite having to make some choices, having to climb some rungs to take certain steps, your reading is coming through more clearly as the reward here is an up-leveling of your heart, your capacity to hold love, the up-leveling in relationships. King of Cups is very much about relationships, partnerships, commitment, energy, coming from the heart space. Remember, not judging it with the mind. Your vision may include relationship work, relating to other people, whether that be like relationship coaching or small groups of men or women coming together. There's something still anchored in that foundation that just needs the water to grow. And so this time, very important for you to revitalize, remineralize, whatever that means for you. Follow your own internal guidance system and go from there. To nourish, to water, to bring that watery energy. Maybe some of you, it's like, also like, if you ever feel like you're gonna cry, maybe offer your tears to the earth, like go cry outside, to the ground, by a tree. There's something very powerful about that, about the power of your tears and giving them to the earth. However you want to ritualize that, I think would be valuable for you earth signs during this time, so that you can really, really find your path to that heart space. And maybe for some of you, you're like, I am connected with my heart space, because I do sense for some of you, you are very well connected to your heart space, but this is going to be an expansion, an even greater expansion. All right, let's get a card for Virgo here, a guidance card, the highest and best message for our Virgo tribe here, beautiful Virgos. Very intelligent. Ooh. So Virgo, this energy is going to call you out of your mind a little bit, which is good because we're going for this King of Cups energy and this revitalization. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Everybody get a nice sip of water. You got navigating by the stars. Follow your bliss. And it's so much connected to this Hierophant card that I got for the earth signs here. Blissful energies. Now, this isn't about blissing out and like unicorns and rainbows and fluffy pink unicorns dancing on rainbows. Have you guys heard that song? It's hilarious and annoying at the same time. I think it's like bright, fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbow. I don't know, or pink fluffy or something. It's hilarious and bad. But navigating by the stars, follow your bliss. There's something very intriguing about the upgrades that you're going to be getting. There's something very enjoyable. Maybe some of you have felt like the joy has kind of been sucked out of your life, but as you revitalize, as you process the emotions and offer your tears to the earth, then you're able to look up because you're going to be running up that hill, climbing up those stairs. Y'all know that. Running up that hill, running up that. You're going to be doing that. You're setting off on this journey, but with a greater wisdom. Maybe navigating by the stars, you're going to be connecting a little bit more with the air and fire elements. So it's coming for you. It feels to me like I need to just remind you this is worthwhile. Your experience now, and even some of the dryness or the barrenness that you might be feeling, is worth the journey. So that's coming up for you, Virgos, especially. Not everything is as it seems. That's also what I get. Not everything is as it seems. So maybe you're stuck on a little bit of that three-dimensional stuff. And you could use a little bit of letting go of that, right? Into a more spiritual kind of vibe. Taurus. Do I have any Tauruses listening? Any Virgos or Tauruses out there? Let me know. Sun, moon, rising, or north node, right? So it could be your sun sign, could be your moon sign, could be your rising, north node, could have another placement that stands out to you. My moon and Mars is in Taurus. Ooh, it's sticky, but here it comes. All right, I think you're going to like this, Taurus. This is about being in the flow. So Virgo gets to navigate the stars. You get to be in the flow. You work on this revitalization, this rehydration, the remineralizing. And look, you get to like be all comfy, cozy in the sleigh, be pulled by the reindeer over here. This looks almost like a Mrs. Claus, and she's all comfy, cozy, and oh so happy. Everything is smooth sailing, Taurus. But you have to be hydrated, right? That has to be there. And I feel like earth signs during this time, the work that you do reflecting and remembering is really going to pay off. I mean, so far so good. We still have Capricorn, but so far so good. Navigating by the stars, in the flow for Taurus. Even though the path might feel a little drier, a little harder to you at this moment, you get that nourished. Plant those seeds, sprinkle some new seeds down, a little bit of fertilizer, get that nourished, and you'll be on your way. Okay, Capricorn, what is the highest and best guidance for our Capricorn tribe out there? Woo, see, I'm telling you, the rewards are big here for you, earth signs. The more you work with this energy to rehydrate, revitalize, remineralize, okay? You can do it all kinds of ways. You can do one of those, little face masks, a little collagen boost, revitalize, remineralize, right? Whatever it is for you. Capricorn too. I feel like you're going to bust through these gates, the gates of triumph. Success expands in your life. You're revitalizing, remembering, recalibrating. I get recalibrating for you, Capricorn. Recalibration. Recalibration. The gate is there. You just have to go through it. You have to recalibrate your energies so you can see the opening, the portal. And through these retrograde energies, I'm picking up for the earth signs too, and I'm saying it here for Capricorn, that Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, maybe Capricorn because Cancer is your opposite. I think the Jupiter retrograde in Cancer energies are something for you to look into because I feel they're revealing for you and they're going to help you on this recalibration. But all of the energies here for the earth signs are really expansive and very successful and triumphant and flowing. So it's very nice to see that there's value in going through some of these trickier, drier, you know, cracked energies. It's kind of like, and I keep seeing like skin and like hydrating the skin too. So if you guys have like, you know, like if you're like me, I don't know, women, we all get the cracked heels and the dry, you know, maybe it's a little exfoliation and then putting some, you know, really moisturizing lotion. All of these things are informing you, right? You can do very practical things, and earth signs like practical things. Do the practical things that bring you that hydration, that bring you that remineralization. And of course, you can ritualize it a little for yourself, bring it into your meditations, however works best for you, but it really feels like that's going to be beneficial. All right, who's still with me? Big deep breath, nice sip of water. Who's still with me? How you feeling? We're getting into the air signs next. Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. How's everybody doing? Let me know in the comments. Drop a few hearts. I know some of you are working and lurking, and that's fine too. There you are. Somebody's there. Here and grabbing your water. Yeah, the reminder to drink that water. I love when it comes up. It reminds me to do it. Yay, Gemini here. Yes, we're coming into the air signs. So how are the air signs reconnecting to their vision for these upgrades, for these retrograde to upgrades, air signs? Ooh. Ooh. All right. Clear thy throat. One more sip of water here. Okay. Air signs, I'm feeling that solar prana for you is going to be really important. That sunshine. You got the sun, the happiest card in the deck. The sun is igniting you. It's recharging. I'm getting for air signs, you're being recharged. Okay. It's almost like I see all these molecules or atoms that are very still. And then the solar energy hits it and boom, they get activated and they start buzzing and communicating here. I think air signs here, you may really have possibly a little advantage, a little leg up here on the solar energies, the solar flare energies that are coming down. They're sparking something in you. I wouldn't be surprised, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, if some really great ideas come through, some really powerful ideas come through to you. It doesn't mean like right now, since we're remembering, we're reintegrating, doesn't mean you have to run with them right away, but definitely take note of the energies coming in, because I feel that they contain a lot of power and a lot of alignment. And there seems to be a remembrance, a reconnection to your sacred relationship to the sun, to the central star of our solar system. And I'm seeing like a star nursery. Have you ever seen the representations of stars being born, like a star nursery? And then they like, there's all these processes that happen and they form into solar systems. I'm seeing that for you air signs for some reason. I'm seeing a star nursery and I'm hearing those words, star nursery. Something very beautiful and very powerful is being born. This could be your connection with your soul, SOL force, right? That would be in aligned action for you. I think you've made a decision, air signs, that as you move forward, you want to move forward in more joy and happiness. You're not here to suffer and feel defeated and be down in the dumps. There's very much this sense of, I am opening to this solar energy. I am reconnecting with it. I am re-energizing here so that I can move forward on my journey, and it's going to power you up. I feel like this downtime, and Teresa, you were saying, Gemini, you've been needing to rest and relax. Let the sparks of energy flow in, and as they do, jot them down, make note of them, put them in your journal, note them on your vision board, brainstorm it a little bit. You don't have to take the action yet. You'll know when to take the action. It'll become apparent. It's going to energize you, though. It's going to energize you. With the Knight of Swords. Woo, child. The Knight of Swords. Swords energy is air energy, and it's active. It is going to go get it. Now, I'm saying you don't got to do that right now because we're in all these retrogrades that tell us to rest and relax. When some of these energies lift, though, you're going to hit the ground running, air signs. So this is very, very, very powerful energy for you. I think there's this sense of individuality where you're standing out. There's a stand out kind of energy here that is powerful. You've got a bow on your back, which is very interesting. That it's not being wielded quite yet. I don't see a quiver with arrows in it. I just see the bow. Maybe you're going during this time as you get re-energized and you're going to start collecting those arrows. All right. And then you can take the action with it, right? So yeah, very, very, very powerful energy for the air signs coming up. And I love seeing that, right? All right, so your final card here. Your final card here, the Wheel. The Wheel is coming through. This is the Wheel of Fortune. And I love this because you get to take the action. You get to collect your arrows. You're like on this mission and you're getting maybe like your golden arrows, right? When the time comes for the movement, though, the universe comes to meet you. Nature comes to meet you. And that's beautiful because as the cycles turn, you're in balance with the cycles. So you're not trying to force the wheel. You're not trying to make something happen. You are taking action. You're collecting what you need to collect. And you'll know when it's time to aim. You'll know when it's time to shoot. You know when it's time to chase after that, right? But you're going to be doing so from a balanced place. And it feels very auspicious to me. So there's a very powerful process. We have two major arcana cards really standing out, the Sun and the Wheel, the 10 and the 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. You're bringing a lot of things to completion and you're getting re-energized by it. So then when the time is right to move, you'll be moving in alignment. And look, we have a balance of like light and shadow here, which I like to see. Both are being acknowledged, which is great because that's what brings us into a place of wholeness, right? That's what brings us into homeostasis. There it is. There's the word, homeostasis. It's kind of nice here too, because you don't have to have both feet on the ground. And as an air sign, I think you have the power to flow and to float and to balance without having to have both feet on the ground. Maybe this could also indicate one foot is grounding you into connection while another one is lifting you up. So the energies you're working with in that way, you're being supported but uplifted at the same time. It also feels like, as I look at this card, the wheel was kind of on the edge down here, but now it's kind of flattened out into a more what I would say, easy to travel spiral. So some of you, the path has been kind of rough where you're coming from, and it's going to be easier to navigate as you come out of these energies if you work to really re-energize yourself, if you work with that solar connection that you have. Very beautiful. Okay, let's get a guidance card for each of the air signs. We'll start with Libra energies. Just a reminder that this Sunday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. Central, I will be live doing personal readings for subscribers. So make sure you're subscribed and come on, you can ask one question or put one theme in the chat, and I will get through as many mini readings as I can in that hour. And we have a great time. If you're really dying to ask a question, come closer to the 7 o'clock hour and ask it, because we do fill up fast on those. So Libra is up first. All right. So you got purification, cleansing waters. Purification activates vibrant life force, Libra. Wow. So Libra energy comes in and says, you know what? That's a lot of activity. That's a lot of air. Let me bring in a little water. Let me make sure as I'm getting re-energized that I'm also cleansing out the old stuff. This feels very much to me like the whitening phase in alchemy, where the water and where it's like the ash again and the water comes through and clears it out. Water type activities like swimming, kayaking, baths, showers relating to the water for Libra, that's going to be super important. Cleansing waters. So you're going to be doing a cleansing as well, Libra. Some of you Libras, I feel like maybe got pulled into other people's stuff. And so that card is coming up to say you're going to be clearing that out of your system, out of your body, your subconscious. So some of you in your ability to relate and to see multiple sides of things maybe got sucked a little too far into somebody's point of view or somebody's issues or something, and you're clearing that out along with this. That's important for some of you Libras there. All right. Aquarius. Aquarius is going to spend a little time in solitude, and in silence, peace prevails. Now, this is beautiful energy for you humanitarian Aquarians out there. Your notion, because of the humanitarian aspect of you, is to be out there, to talk to people, to be with humans. But here we have more of a peaceful vibe going on as she sits, and she has the little baby owl on her shoulder. Looks like a little baby owl to me. And just being with your own wisdom for a moment or during this time is going to serve you very well. It's going to serve you very well. To me, Aquarius, I'm getting more of like, it's those whispers. Like it's your greater being whispering to you. And it's not going to be that loud, super duper like external voice that comes from somewhere or just all of a sudden lands in you. It's more of a whisper. So pay attention to the whispers that you get and make sure you carve out a little bit of solitude for yourself. There also feels to me like some of you Aquarians may be doing a little more integration during this time, and navigating that integration may take a little bit of quiet downtime for you. All right, how about Gemini, who's been patiently waiting? Our Gemini tribe. Whew, you're going to like this one, Gemini. Infinite abundance. Abundance is pouring into your life. Can I get a hey, hey for Gemini? Wow. All right. So we've got literally they're having to hold a huge sheet below these apple trees because there's so many apples, too many for their aprons, too many for their baskets. Let's get a whole sheet out. Woo! Let's get a whole sheet out, Gemini. And let's just collect. Let's let it come. Let it drop into that sheet right there, and we're going to take it and we're going to make something great with it. So really powerful sign, you know, you may be feeling like, oh my gosh, yes, I need that energizing. I need to get re-energized here. I need to get recharged. But yes, let me collect in the abundance. The abundance is pouring into your life. Not that you're having to go out and grab it and do all these things, right? You're going to feel the momentum of your sign, of the air sign, going, being a go-getter. But also for Gemini specifically, allowing this to come to you. Insert the dancing emoji now. Hey, hey, yes, yes, infinite abundance. And, you know, I'm kind of thinking of like apples too. Like apples might be something you like to work with. Maybe make some applesauce or a dessert or something like that. Pick your favorite apple. A really fun thing to do sometimes with your family is to get different apples and then have like an apple contest, and you can judge them on like star quality, cut them in half, see what the stars look like on the inside, the crunchy, you know, the flavor, the crunch, the texture, the skin. You can like just have a fun time with apples. So Gemini, this could also mean for some of you that that infinite abundance comes from a relationship where you are the apple of someone's eye. So keep that in mind. You might be catching the eyes of someone, whether you want to or not there, Gemini. So, wow. Okay. There you have it. There you have it. I'm just getting the sweetness. I'm getting the sweetness for you too. The sweet abundance coming in. We're going to get into our water signs, and just a little honoring reminder of that water grand trine. Sun in Scorpio is entering that grand trine on the 16th and 17th, with Jupiter retrograde in Cancer and Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So, wow, that's a lot of reflection. And have y'all ever taken a picture out in nature, like you're at a lake or a pond, and you take the picture and the trees from the top reflect perfectly? I'm seeing that image. For some of you, for you water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, that's coming up. Reflection, maybe a lot of reflecting going on. That's your All right, what do our water signs need to know? Ooh. Yes, and this water grand trine, I think, is bringing it for the water signs here. So let me know in the chat if you got the water sign energy here. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. All three cards are major arcana cards. A big time for you, okay? A big time for you here. I feel the reconnection, first of all, water signs, with the Empress coming in. Now, not in this card, but it might be represented by her wings here. They almost look like water wings. But in the traditional Empress card, the river flows to her. She sits downstream and things flow to her. So there is this rehydration for you as well. There's a reconnection happening that I'm sensing here. This is, for some of you, going to be connected to mother energies, whether inside yourself or your dynamic with your mother, your maternal lineage. Water signs, that may come up a little more. Remembering, reclaiming. There could be reclaiming. Your natural feminine energies could be reclaimed here, or those of your lineage. If you're the masculine, you may be witnessing that in your feminine. You may be witnessing that around you or in your mother, your relationship to your mother, the emotions. The Empress is also a card of, she allows the abundance. So this is a receiving card as well, being received by these energies of the retrograde. Very, very interesting. Next up, we've got the Justice card, number 11. Look at that reflection. That's what I was talking about in like nature pictures, where you take a picture and the trees reflect. In this card, they've got the reflection perfectly. As above, so below. As within, so without. So water signs, you're doing some deep alchemy that are this alchemy is rebalancing. This process you're going through is rebalancing your energies, realigning. And I think there's a lot going on in this reflection. So that may be the shadow self dive that you're doing, as it might be kind of reflective of, you know, how Scorpio will kind of go deeper in. All the water signs really do, but that depth, something being revealed in this reflection, you seeing yourself in a wholeness that you haven't seen before. Justice brings us into that wholeness, that balance. It's a Libra energy as well. So you could connect to the Libra message as well. And she looks pleased. She looks pleased and confident in the top image. But let's look at the bottom image. Mysterious. Not so sure about this one. This one, yeah, pretty good. Let me see what's in there. This reflection begins to shift and morph. For you water signs, you're recalibrating things, you're releasing things, and I think you are, what's the word? Recommitting. There it is. Recommitting, water signs, to yourself and to your path of wholeness on this journey. The other nice thing I'm seeing here for you water signs, number 12, the Hanged Man. You're not afraid to explore this energy. It may have you a little baffled at times. You may be a little bit confused as why are things happening? Why are, like for instance, why are people misunderstanding me? Why am I not able to move as readily as I want to move? Maybe I need to slow down and stretch a little. And I think you're not fearing this. It's just taking the time to go with that reflection and to play with these energies a little bit. And we have all our runes like swirling about in here, representing different things. Some of you are going to be working on ancestral patterns. Some of you are going to be working on better protecting your boundaries from what I see here. Some of you are going to be focusing on the energies of how you exchange your energy with another. And it's being illuminated at the crown, at the knowingness level. So, wow, there's some powerful energies happening in these retrogrades. And I think this water grand trine is helping out a lot in you reconnecting with your vision. Things may change up a little. You may come out of this with a different perspective than you had before. Because as you go deeper into those reflections, you're going to be re-strategizing. You are going to re-strategize after all of this, because again, I'm getting that sense things aren't what they seem. And through this water grand trine happening during this retrograde, you have the ability to really go deep into that reflection and pull out what you need to learn, perhaps the lessons. I sense a lot of inward energy, water signs. But it's kind of like that turning yourself inside out kind of energy. Let's get a message here for the Cancerian tribe. We'll start with Cancer. What is the highest and best message of guidance for our Cancer tribe today? Ooh, here we go. Kind of the hermit energy, taking shelter. The answers are within. So Cancer's going in, being encouraged to go into their deep inner light, the depths of their heart, looking for the reflections, what's being reflected in your heart, in your inner knowing. What is being revealed to you, Cancer? What is being revealed? What are you rediscovering, Cancer? What are you rediscovering about yourself? Where do you need to position yourself? Because this is about taking shelter so that you can discover these answers. Where do you need to reel in some time and space for yourself? to have that warm and cozy place to rest and find all the answers. For some of you, I feel like you might be revisiting childhood, revisiting some childhood places, but it feels more nostalgic. Could have to do with the holidays too. More of a nostalgia feeling might be coming up. Pisces. Pisces, with this water grand trine, Saturn is going to be retrograde in Pisces. How interesting is that? Retrograde energies in the shamanic realm for Pisces, right? The shaman of the zodiac. What is being revealed? Wondrous universe for you, Pisces. Walk in beauty, right? You know, Pisces sometimes gets a hard rap for being overly idealistic, but they're also one of the most imaginative signs. And I feel like the power of your imagination, I'm getting a sense of glory here. I want to use the word glory, not in the traditional religious sense, but in you just hold this beautiful glory, like a morning glory flower to open up and share. And we've got the wizard here, which is really, really fun. So we have the wisdom behind expressing through beauty. So letting things be beautiful, letting your imagination carry you to beautiful places, reading a really fascinating and rich story, you know, during this time might be helpful to you. Maybe you're a writer, maybe you're creating that story. Maybe you're just enjoying something mystical like the aurora borealis that some of us have been able to see, and really allowing yourself to have an experience with that, Pisces. Beautiful. I love that for you because it gives you permission to be idealistic and to use your imagination and not feel restricted by the confines of the world. Scorpio. Scorpio. You're probably most comfortable in the energy of being fogged in. You're most comfortable in the shadows. So I actually think this is going to be a good place for you to be. It says go slow and take time. Again, I'm getting that sense of things are not as they seem. Spend time in the darker, deeper waters, exploring. This is also could represent that opportunity now to shadow self-reflect. Even if things are fogged in, it doesn't mean they always will be. Eventually the fog will lift. But let's not go blazing into some place while we're fogged in. Let's take some time. Let's go slow. Let's really search the ins and outs of these shadow energies. I also get the sense, I'm sensing like it's like being deep underwater in the dark depths, and you look up and you could see the ray of light. Like you're going to know where to swim to when the time comes. But for now, allow the murkiness, the shadows, that place of mystery to reveal some things. I think there's some sparkly treasure in the depths for you, Scorpio. That's what it feels like to me. So allow it. Go slow. That's nice with these retrograde energies. Go slow. Thank you, Yaman. Okay. So final closing musings for everyone today. Thank you so much. Oh, I just love this community so much. I'm so grateful for you. If you haven't hit that thumbs up, give me a thumbs up. And please join us on Sunday evening, 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here on the channel. I will be doing free mini readings. One question or theme per person, but it's a personal Q&A, and I will just roll through and do as many of those as I can. So that is on Sunday the 16th, and then there is one more this year after that. Normally they're every other week, but we have some holidays coming up. I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to have some other offerings. Be sure you connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Creators on the Crest as well, because I will be having some other specials. I think I've got a Black Friday special in the mix. So definitely keep an eye on the channel. Join next Friday. I'll talk about the things. Sunday, December 14th is a live Q&A. So we have this Sunday, the 16th, 7 to 8 p.m. Central. Sunday, December 14th, and then we'll regroup in January on the 11th and the 25th. So mark your calendars for those live Q&As. They're a great time. We hit the ground running. Come in early because it goes by fast. Okay. Y'all, wonderful job with navigating these energies, looking at these retrogrades, allowing yourself to slow down. We are retrograding to upgrade, so don't forget that. Don't let it get too heavy on your soul. Allow some of the lightness to come in. Even though we are slowing down, it doesn't mean we're stopping. So always keep that in mind. Definitely keep your eye out. I will have another tarot and tea on this next Tuesday. And during that, I do a little channeling from my greater being to yours at the beginning. And then you get a tarot reading, and each one is unique each week. And then I do a psychic weather forecast. It's really interesting. So some of you might want to catch the last one. That psychic weather forecast kind of informs about what energies are going to be floating about that we're dealing with right now up until the next time I put a video out. So be sure to check that out. Oh gosh, so much gratitude to all of you. I absolutely love you all. Thank you so much for participating, for your lovely comments. And I look forward to seeing you all next time.